Hi, if we haven't met already, my name is Yelena Crawford. Welcome to my channel, Yelena Crawford Yoga. And if you are coming back and already a subscriber, welcome back. Today's practice is going to be an amazing, yummy Yin Yoga practice where we get down deep into the connective tissue and fascia so that we can promote internal healing as well as move around some of that stale, stagnant, stuck energy that we get inside the body from repressing a lot of our emotions and different things. Now, if you like these types of yoga classes, restorative, building strength, calming the mind, and reducing stress, make sure you hit that subscribe button below so that you can be notified, as well as tapping that bell icon right next to it, of all the classes that I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But enough of that right now. Let's go ahead and get into our practice. All right, guys, so we're gonna use today's Yin practice as a way to really align and refine, to get more into alignment with ourselves and in our lives, because usually that just takes us on a wonderful journey where we can't really deny that everything seems to be falling into place, but that also starts with our physical practice and getting in alignment in our mind as well. How you feel is totally an indication of your alignment or misalignment with who you really are in your authenticity. So let's go ahead and make sure that we are alignment in mind, heart, and as well as in the body. Now, our Yin Yoga practice, we hold the postures for a little bit longer than usual, usually about 2 to 3 to 5 minutes long. And this gets down deep into our connective tissue and our fascia to help really relieve a lot of internal issues that might be going on, as well as a lot of stale, stuck, stagnant energy within the body. We're just gonna begin to move the body just a little bit to prepare ourselves for holding these postures. So let's begin to warm up, circling the head down and to the left. Now you might also notice that you run into a couple hiccups in this practice mentally. Go ahead, take that circle to the other side. The mind sometimes tends to race or self-sabotage when we find stillness. This is why it's often so hard for people to meditate. All right, bringing the head back up through neutral center. Let's go ahead and circle the body, the entire torso down and to the left. Big, giant circles. So as much as this might be intense for the physical body, it might be just as intense for the mind. So I just urge you to notice, let's switch sides, what comes up for you, what unfolds during the process. Build that inner motivation and just kind of stick with it. There might be messages for you to discover. Bringing it back up through a seated position. We're in our Sukhasana, our easy seat. We'll reach those arms all the way up to the sky. Take a quick side twist. Twisting out the spine, drop the right palm down to the left knee. Take the gaze off the left shoulder, just sitting nice and upright. Now our Yin practice it's a practice of ease. Very passive. We don't want to force ourselves into any posture. We don't want to activate the muscles. Go ahead, bring it back through center, and we'll take it to the other side. Go ahead, bring it back through center. Stretch and reach through the arms. And then we're gonna drop the fingertips down, and we're just going to come into our first held position. So coming into tabletop, roll onto the palms and the knees. I'm just gonna slip my microphone off here. And once we arrive in tabletop, we wanna keep the hips directly over the knees, but we are going to come into melting heart pose. So we start to walk the hands out in front of us. And drop the forehead down to the mat. We might even find that there's room to stretch the arms out a little bit further. Just keep the seat all the way up in the air. And we're gonna be holding here for about 2 to 3 minutes. So just see if you might be able to find that sweet spot. Really big opening in the chest, the armpits, the arms. Can become quite intense as time goes on. And you might even notice some different sensations. Try not to be judgmental of what you experience. Try not to give in to the mind's temptations to come out of the posture or move a lot. And just allow the body to sink in. We'll find taking about just 10 more seconds to find that sweet spot. It might look different from body to body, and that's completely fine. We'll go ahead and sink in and just find stillness. So we're gonna be silent for a little while. Connect to the natural rhythm of the breath. Maybe starting to notice where you might be holding on too tightly. Could be in the clenching of your jaw, the tightening of your facial muscles. Maybe it's in the feet or in the seat. Seeing where you might be able to just let go and surrender deeper into the posture. We're about halfway through. Slowly rising out of the posture. Never in this practice do we ever want to rush coming out of anything, just easing our way back up to tabletop. And we can drop the seat down towards the heels. In Yin Yoga, we do what's called rebound postures. This is adding in just a little bit of yang movement, which is a little bit of active movement so that we can really move some energy, move some chi, some prana through the body. We do constrict off a lot of areas of the body, the blood flow, different fluids that are moving when we're doing each posture. So it's really good once we come out of it just to move around a little bit, allow the body to rebound so that we can get that energy flowing and anything that may have been stuck. And if you'd like to rest for a couple moments, we'll come into Embryo Pose. The knees are together, very similar to Child's Pose. Drop the seat to the heels. The arms will sweep back behind you, tops of the hands on the mat. Drop the forehead down. Just reconnecting with that natural rhythm of the breath. And not worrying throughout this practice what the body looks like in any posture. Every bone from every body, every muscle is completely different, size, shape, angle. And that's what makes everybody, have their little puzzle pieces that construe their big puzzle. And the state of the mind is a lot more important than the state of the body anyways. We're coming into alignment. It starts inside. It starts within. Let's go ahead and come back into tabletop. So from here, we're going to drop down onto the belly so we can just find our own way down. Good. Let's plant the palms directly underneath the shoulders. And just from here, we can begin to drop the forearms down. We're gonna rise up into what's called Sphinx Pose. We should be feeling this in the lower lumbar, lower back region. And we might even, before we settle in completely, move the hips from side to side. That can feel really nice. Get some mobility going here. And then we can really lift up. So we're gonna stay here just for about a minute or so. Just connect with the breath. Maybe put it close to the eyes. And if you're having trouble with the mind wandering, always bring it back to your breathing, focusing on the inhale and each exhale. Pulling the shoulders down away from the earlobes. We tend to wear our shoulders as earrings sometimes. This tense world that we live in. Let's see if we can find a little bit of ease and comfort. If this is ever too intense, feel free to walk the arms out just a little bit further. And in our yin practice, this unfolds different for each and every one of us. Some of us may feel more intensity physically in our body. Some of us may feel more of an intensity in the mind, a lot more mental chatter. A lot of times we really hold a lot deep down in our muscles and our tissues. They always say you hold your issues in your tissues. So maybe a past memory may arise or a thought. Just notice what's unfolding. Now from here, we have the option to stay right where we are. We can take it just a little bit deeper, coming into seal pose. We'll place the palms down on the mat. We can lower the chest back down just temporarily, and then take an inhale, lift the chest back up. Now for seal pose, the arms are a little bit wider, maybe a little bit wider than shoulder distance apart. And this is pretty intense in the lower back. So like I said, it is a great option as well, just to lower back down to Sphinx. And then take notice of the glute muscles. We tend to clench them here in this position. So see if we can relax and soften. Breathe and relax. Allowing those shoulders to melt away from the ears. It's only about 45 seconds more in this position. And even in little positions like this, we start to know what is in alignment with ourselves right now, with our bodies. Is it putting the forearms down and taking a Sphinx, or pressing up all the way into seal pose? There's these little choices that we can make to get ourselves on the right path to moving away from misalignment in life. Go ahead, lower the chest all the way back down, nice and slow. And once again, maybe rocking the hips from side to side. Taking a couple moment rebound pose here. Maybe even just finding stillness, dropping the cheek or the forehead down to the mat. Plant the palms back down. Press it up into tabletop. Now from here, go ahead, step the left foot through between the hands and begin to heel toe the left foot all the way over towards the right hand. We're gonna go ahead and drop that shin down to the mat and slide the right thigh back. So the top of the right foot and the top of the right thigh are down onto the mat. Now some of us may look as if the shin right here is parallel to the front of the mat, and some might have a bent knee where the leg is more on a diagonal, more on a slant. Either one works perfectly fine. Go ahead and begin to drop that right forearm down to the mat. Before we come all the way down into our pigeon pose, we're just gonna take a nice twist here. Take an inhale, left arm lifts. We'll take our gaze up towards the fingertips. Just about 15 more seconds here. Feel free to skip this and go straight down if this is too intense for you. Just finding your own body's alignment, where you are in this moment, is what's most important. We find this out by the way that we feel, mostly in our bodies a lot of times, no matter what the situation in life, whether it's on our yoga mat or with family or friends. Go ahead and drop that left palm down, and we'll rise up just to make sure the hips are squared forward towards the front of the mat, and we'll go ahead and surrender down. Lowering the chest over that left leg, just allowing the body to cascade forward and sinking down ever so gently, allowing the body to become heavy. Allowing the forehead to drop down to the mat. It may take 5 or 10 seconds to find your sweet spot. We should definitely be feeling this in the hip flexors, the hips, thighs, the glutes. And just find your resting pose. Find your stillness. And we may begin to notice different sensations that might arise. Once again, whether they be thoughts or sensations in the body, maybe temperature changes in the spots that we're targeting, or flow of energy. Just notice what comes up for you, which might change throughout the course of the time we hold.
we're halfway there. Keep on holding, soften and relax, finding that ease, that comfort, even through any intensity you might be experiencing. Slowly make your way back up.
Begin to shift the weight into the left hip. And we'll go ahead and swing both legs around to the front. If you'd like to lay down for a moment, please be my guest. If not, we'll go ahead and just maybe shake the legs out. It even helps to put the soles of the feet down, moving the knees from side to side, taking a little bit of windshield wiper action. So even in our heart, we know with the way things feel, if it's right or wrong for us, or if it's in alignment or not. Sometimes we get that nagging pain in our body, get those habits that keep coming back, or these bad relationships. And we're able to use our own internal navigation system. It's like an inner GPS to kind of seek out the right path to find us most in alignment. Sometimes we just tend to maybe not follow that guidance, but we can use practices like this in order to start making the right types of decisions like this. We can decide what's right or wrong for our body, certain poses. If we're holding it, it just doesn't feel right, it feels painful, we do have that option to move out of it, not continue pushing ourselves too hard past our threshold. Let's go ahead and cross those legs, roll forward back into tabletop. And going on to the other side, step the right foot through between the hands, heel toe, the right foot over towards the left hand. Drop that shin down and find your placement. It might be a little bit different than the other side. And we'll go ahead and take that twist. So from here, we'll drop the right forearm down to the mat. And on the inhale, stretch and reach through the right fingertips. Kind of gauging and seeing where you're at on this side. We've got about 15 more seconds, maybe seeing if we can twist just a little bit further. These are just our yang postures before we settle into the yin portion. Good, drop the right palm down. Let's come up on the hands, making sure that the hips are nice and straight to the long edge of the mat. And surrendering down into our Pigeon Pose. Dropping the forehead down to the mat. Taking a couple seconds to find the sweet spot. And then allowing that ease and grace, just allowing yourself to surrender in and trying to let go as much as we possibly can. That in itself is its own practice, but every time we try, we get a little bit better, a little bit stronger.
Just observing the quality of your stillness, the quality of the mind when it's faced with presence, with stillness, with quiet. Noticing if the body slips in a little bit deeper every couple seconds. As we hold, it may become a little bit easier, a little bit more comfortable, even in a time of intensity. Just being able to bring in this awareness to our practice where we're starting to notice the different signals that the body sends us. This is a practice that will help us develop more alignment-based tendencies in life. Slowly begin to make your way up. Good, and this time shifting the weight into the right hip. We're going to go ahead and swing the pelvis around towards the front of the mat. And we'll keep this right sole of the foot kind of plugged in towards the left inner thigh. We're going to take a lateral dragonfly stretch next, just for a couple minutes. And this is kind of an interesting, awkward stretch. So once again, having to find your own alignment, what feels good to you, where you're able to get into that sweet spot and really get the best and most out of the posture. But my most favorite way of doing this, we want to go ahead and use this elbow as kind of a kickstand right here. And this is going to rest the head. So nice little head rest here. Now you can see as you ease your way into the posture a little bit more, if you might be able to drop this elbow down outside or inside of the knee a little bit further. It is going to make it more intense all along the side body here. And then we're going to bring this right arm all the way up, and we can rest this either on the back of the neck or on the top of the head, whatever kind of works for you. I like to make a fist with this bottom hand. And this is really going to give us a nice, big, deep stretch in the side body. Pretty intense, because as we continue on, it stretches it more and more as the body kind of slips in just a little bit further. So just go ahead and take a couple seconds to find that sweet spot, find what works for you. Like I said, it is a little bit of awkward positioning. Maybe even putting it close to the eyes. That big, deep stretch all along the side body and that upper hip joint area. We've got about 1 more minute to go. much of an intense stretch here, especially in that upper hip. Got a little less than 30 seconds. Stick with it. Maybe even bringing the top of the arm to the top of the head if you'd like to deepen a little bit further. And only what resonates with you. You can either back out of it a little bit, deepen it further. Place it down on the mat so that we can slowly ease ourselves up out of this. This area might be feeling just a little bit tender. It's completely normal with these stretches that we might feel a little bit weak or tender or sore in these areas, but don't worry, as the blood flows and the chi flows through the body, a lot of normalcy will return. We're going to stick here with this side and take a half frog pose. So we'll go ahead and take this right foot, bring it all the way back behind you. Now we don't want to bend the knee too much, bring the heel too close to the seat. We do want that heel to stay out a little bit further. And this is in about a half side pike pose, and we're going to just begin to slowly make our way down. Dropping those forearms down, we might notice that we can go a little bit deeper, or maybe this is where we want to stay right here. This can be pretty intense as well. Big, giant hip opener here. And we'll just hold here just for a little bit of time. Use the breath. Trying to stick with that natural rhythm of breath, but bringing our attention to it. Using it as a focal point. And if the body begins to tremble, vibrate, shake, let us know that all of these sensations are normal for you. It's your normal. These types of practices also are so much our teacher, because we start to see how we fold in certain ways under intensity. We'll start to notice our different types of reactions, maybe some belief systems that might arise within us. We might even begin to notice patterns, just the way that we are reacting on our yoga mat and ways that we might react in everyday life. This is how we can begin to change and mold ourselves into who we want to become. Not saying that that older version of us isn't right, but it might no longer be in alignment with who or what we're trying to become. Just all the stages of self-development and growth. Little tips and tricks to help us on our journey. A little over halfway there. I know this one's pretty intense, guys. Just stick with me. You got this. Bringing that focus back to your breathing. A lot of our deep-rooted issues get stuck in our hips, so this one might bring quite a bit of emotion to the surface. Intensity. Love for you guys to leave me a comment and let me know what comes up for you during this practice. What was your biggest takeaway? Good. We're slowly lifting up out of this one. Now we want to slowly extend this leg out. You can literally just heel toe that foot out, whatever works for you. Just don't rush yourself. Just slowly ease out of it. A snail's pace is totally fine with me in my book. We are in no hurry here. And go ahead and extend those legs long. Give them a little bit of a shake. Like I said, whatever we need here is completely fine. Maybe even windshield wiping those knees back and forth. Putting the weight back on the hands as we move from side to side. Good. Just kind of coming back into tabletop. Let's go ahead and make a couple circles with that leg, with the knee. Getting into the hip. Might hear some creaks and cracks in the body, and that's all totally normal, completely fine. Maybe just move each hip from side to side. Just giving ourselves a little rebound time, whatever you guys may need, even if it's just laying flat on your back. Taking a couple cat-cows, lifting through the chin and the tailbone, pulling the shoulder blades back closer to each other. Exhale, round the spine, tucking the chin to chest, pressing the mat away. All right, let's go ahead and check out this other side. So this time we're gonna extend the right leg long and then bring that left sole of the foot in towards the right inner thigh. We're gonna take that lateral dragonfly. So might be different on this side, just kind of gauge, right? We're in this business of aligning and refining everything. So we're learning a lot about our body, what we need in this moment, not comparing ourselves to anybody else for that matter. And we'll bring this left elbow and place it wherever it suits us right now. So maybe that's bringing it to the outer edge of the knee or on top of the thigh. Go ahead and just place the head on top of our little kickstand here, and then we can begin to bring that left arm on top of the head or back on the neck and allow the side body to begin its stretching process. Finding that stillness. Maybe even putting it close to the eyes, just allowing the body to relax. And become better, stronger, and more resilient when we're faced with uncomfortable circumstances or awkward situations. And we're able to just kind of sit through awkward positions like this. It's almost like training day. Always working up towards something, right? So I always like to say we're always training for something. A little over halfway there. Maybe we edge the arm up a little bit closer towards the top of the head, place the forearm down. If not, just maybe finding our way in deeper, or maybe pushing back, pulling it back a little bit. Once again, not trying to be too active with the pose, sinking in, allowing the body to be heavy. Go ahead and bring that left hand down to the mat as we slowly lift ourselves back up. Good. Maybe even twisting a little bit from side to side. It's a pretty intense side body stretch there. How are you feeling? Anybody feeling good out there? And we'll go ahead for our half frog. Bring the left leg back behind you. Make sure we don't hug that ankle in and too close. And slowly walk the hands out in front of us. Maybe tuck the chin to chest. Beginning to take notice of any messages the body might be trying to send. Different intensities, different challenges that might arise. And we may even notice on the side that we're not able to fold in at all. And that's completely fine. Just accepting ourselves for exactly where we are in this moment. We always know if we're in alignment or not with the way that the body feels. We don't ever want to push ourselves too far. Ever cause too much discomfort or pain, but also knowing the difference between pain and discomfort. Knowing, if we need to push ourselves a little bit further. Also not holding back too much. There's a fine line between the two. Over halfway there, well over halfway there. Softening, allowing the shoulders to soften, the hands to soften. A lot of times we tend to clench the fingers together. Softening the jaw. Good, slowly coming up out of the stretch, nice and slow. Beginning to heel toe that left foot out, just even centimeter by centimeter. Feel pretty sensitive. Good. And then whatever we need in this rebound, I even just place those feet right down on the mat. The weight back onto our hands. Move windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Coming back to that tabletop position. Making a couple big circles with the knees. Or the knee of the left leg. Good. Moving the hips from side to side. And then taking just a couple cat-cows here. Lifting through the chin, lifting through the tailbone, hugging the shoulder blades together, pulling the chest open. Exhale, rainbow that spine, chin tucks to chest. Beautiful work. From here, bring it back through a neutral spine. Shift the weight into that right hip or the left hip, doesn't matter. We want to swing the legs around towards the front of the mat and begin to lower all the way down onto the back. From here, taking a couple spinal twists. We're going to begin hugging the left knee into the chest. So we hug around the shin with both hands, maybe even interlacing the fingers, just like this. And we'll use this right hand crossing over the knee to take the left knee all the way over to the right side. As we extend the left arm long out to a half T, and we take our gaze off the left fingertips. So we might even want to keep this right hand on top of the left knee just to weigh it down a bit. Or that might be uncomfortable and we want to release it. So once again, just finding alignment with your own body and your own needs. And it will certainly become evident for you. Hopefully this practice so far has given you and your body, your mental state, your heart state, exactly what you needed right in this very moment. And it may present itself very differently from one person to the next. Got about 30 more seconds here. Slowly hugging the left knee back into the chest. And we can hug that left knee in just a bit, maybe rocking the lower back a bit from side to side. Let's go ahead and extend the left leg all the way long. This time switching sides. We're going to go ahead and hug that right knee into the chest. Interlacing the fingers around the shin. Using the left hand this time to cross that left knee over the body towards the left. Reach the right arm out to the side, half T. And we'll take the gaze towards the right fingertips. Maybe placing the left hand on top of that right knee, just to weigh it down a bit. Or maybe not, just gauging. Creating a relationship with our body, creating a relationship with our internal guidance. All of this practice is there to set us on the right path in life, a path of alignment, true balance, inner and outer. is where we tend to find our purpose in life. Just through these subtle little exercises. Beginning to take notice of the quality of your mental state, your physical state, and how centered we are in our hearts. Noticing if maybe you've created a shift within yourself somewhere today. Even just the smallest shift counts. Begin to hug the right knee back into the chest nice and slow as you rock that lower back flat onto the mat. Hugging the right knee in, maybe rocking the lower back a bit from side to side. Good. Then extend both legs long to the corners of the mat. Allow the palms to fall by their sides. Close the eyes and take a quick Shavasana. Begin to wiggle through the fingers and toes. Take a big inhale as you stretch your arms long overhead. Hug the knees into the chest. And slowly rock yourself or press yourself all the way back up to a seated position at the front of the mat. Thank you so much for joining me for this Yin Yoga for beginners and all levels deep stretch to de-stress. So long to anxiety and hopefully so long to our aches and pains. Giving ourselves this self-care and love, this healing yoga practice. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As usual, if you love the content, make sure to hit that like button below, as well as leave a comment. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was, and make sure to hit that subscribe button. Share this video with your friends. Thank you and namaste. Peace.